Hi everyone, it's me Spring, the fiber enthusiast. Today we're going to do another Tunisian tutorial. And for this Tunisian tutorial, you will have a dishcloth when you are done with learning how to do this, if you follow along with me. For today's tutorial, I am using some Mainstay 100% cotton that I dyed myself quite some time ago. And I'm using a 6mm Tunisian hook with cable. You can use an Afghan hook if you'd like. That's perfectly up to you, fine and up to you. You will also need some type of needle to sew in your ends, and you'll need a pair of scissors to cut free from your ball of yarn. So I'm going to move that out of the way, and I'm going to teach you the Tunisian knit stitch. It's very easy, works up very quick, it's thick. The fabric that you make is thick, so you could use this as a hot pad if you used 100% cotton. You could also use it as, a dishcloth or a hand towel, a washcloth. For purposes like that, you have to make sure that you use cotton. If you wanted to make squares to join together and make a blanket, that's fine if you used some other type of fiber. And it'll have just a chain loop at the end after we've finished it, so that way you can hang it. That is another part that's entirely up to you if you want to add that or not. So to get started with this, you're going to need some yarn, and as I said, I'm using 100% cotton, and it is a worsted weight by Mainstay, which is Walmart, and it's hand dyed by me. And all I used out of this was to make that washcloth. I still have plenty left. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to place a slip knot on our hook. And then you need to chain 26 chains. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to the Afghan hook for this tutorial. This is nice if you're just sitting around and leisurely trying to crochet with it, but it's getting in the way. All right, 26. Okay, so once you have chained 26 chains, we are going to be working into the bumps on the back of the chain. You're going to work into the second bump from the loop on your hook. There's one. There we go. And you're going to yarn over and draw up a loop. Go into the next, yarn over and draw up a loop. And you're going to do this all the way to the end of your chain. You should have 26 stitches, those loops on your hook. You should have 26. So you'll know if you're doing it right if you have the same number of loops on your hook as you did in chains. I'm going to go ahead and finish working my way across. Okay, so now I have 26 stitches on my hook. Now I'm going to do just your regular back pass. So I'm going to yarn over and chain 1, and then yarn over and go through 2, and continue that, yarn over, go through 2, all the way until I have 1 loop remaining on my hook. Once I have completed all the way across, I will be back and we will take a look at how to do the Tunisian knit stitch. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to pull up a loop and remove my hook a minute so we can look at this. So just like if we were going to do the Tunisian simple stitch, you have these vertical bars, which are the stitches that you're going to work with. But for the knit stitch, you're actually going to go all the way through between those 2 vertical bars. You see that? There's that vertical bar, and then there's this one over here. You're actually going to stick your crochet hook all the way through so it comes out the opposite side. And that's when you would yarn over and pull up a loop. So I'm going to tighten my hook, loop on my hook here. And this loop on your hook with Tunisian is your very first stitch. So we're going to skip this first vertical bar and go through the second one, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You have made your second stitch. Again, you're going to do this all the way across, going in between those vertical bars and all the way through, yarn over, and pull up a loop. When you get to the end, right before your chain 1, you should have 25 stitches. And then I'll show you how to do that very last stitch. It's the same with pretty much all Tunisian. Until then, you're just gonna try to hold good tension, not too loose so it's a seriously sloppy piece of fabric, but not too tight that you can't get your crochet hook back through. So I'm going to continue working until I have 25 stitches on my hook, just working through those vertical bars. And once I have got to the end, I will show you how to finish up. So I now have 25 stitches on my hook, and I'm down to this last stitch here. And what you want to do is turn your work on its side, and you see those two vertical legs there on the side. You're going to go under both of those. Yarn over and pull up a loop. You're going to yarn over and chain 1 and yarn over and go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2, and continue across until you have 1 loop on your hook. And that is your repeat rows. Okay, so now I'm back down to the 1 loop, which is our first stitch in Tunisian. And now we're going to Tunisian knit stitch back across. Again, just going between those vertical bars all the way to the back, yarning over and pulling up a loop. 2 stitches. Insert our hook all the way through, yarn over and pull up a loop. 3 stitches. And you're going to continue on until you have 25 stitches. And once you have those 25 stitches and reach that last stitch, you will turn that work sideways and pull up a loop through those 2 vertical legs of the chain stitch. from the row prior. That will give you a total of 26 loops on your hook, which is 26 stitches. And then you will do your back pass exactly the same, and you'll just keep doing those 2 rows until you have reached the 8 inches. So you're going to continue doing the knit stitch until you're approximately at 8 inches from where you started to the last row you are working. And then we will come back and put a border around it along with a loop to hang it. So go ahead and keep working on your own and work the knit stitch going between the vertical bars all the way across, making sure to grab the 2 legs on the outside, and then a Tunisian back pass all the way through, and repeat those 2 rows until you have approximately 8 inches from start to the last row worked. We will come back together and finish this up. Okay, so you have now got to the point that you need to stop working on rows and bind off your last Tunisian knit stitch row. So you can switch to a regular crochet hook if you'd like at this point, because you're only going to be working with a couple loops at a time. I did switch back because I went out and sat in my recliner, and I switched back to the cabled hook to finish this little dishcloth here. So I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to go to my 6mm regular crochet hook. Now we're going to continue working the same way to bind off. The only difference is we're not going to keep picking up stitches. We're actually going to finish them off as we go across. So take your hook, just like you were doing, and insert it between those 2 vertical bars, yarn over and pull up a loop, and do that. That's all there is to it. That's all you're going to do all the way across. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and slip. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and slip. And you're going to continue doing that all the way across until you have reached the other end. Okay, coming up to my last couple of stitches here. And you're going to work that very last stitch the same way you did. Turn it on its side, go under those 2 vertical legs, yarn over, pull a loop up, and now you just slip stitch. Okay, so here's what I do. I chain 1, and I do 1 half double crochet, and then 1 single crochet into that corner. And then I place 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way down the side. And I'll meet up with you when I get to the other corner. All I'm going to do is place 1 single crochet all the way down. Okay, so my last stitch here is going to be into the corner, and I'm going to do a single crochet, half double crochet, all into the same stitch. So single, half double, and 1 more single back into that same stitch to create my corner. Now I'm going to just continue working across, and this is a little bit tougher because this is your starting chain, but place 1 single crochet in every stitch across, and the remainder of the next 2 corners you will do the same way. 1 single, 1 half double, and 1 single all into your corner stitch. Go ahead and continue working across to your next corner, doing the corner stitch, and then work down your other side, and then do another corner with the single, half double, single all into the corner stitch, and then work one last row of single crochets, and I will meet up with you at the end to join. All right, so here we are coming up to the last couple of stitches to do this corner here, and we're going to end this last row of single crochets with 1 single crochet into that corner stitch where we started, and slip stitch to the top of your half double crochet, just like that. And now you can continue on for as many times around as you would like to get things situated and laying a little bit more flat because it's still curling. That's entirely up to you. And then the next step is adding a loop if you want it and sewing in your ends. Go back to my 6mm hook. I dropped down just to get into the small stitches on that starting row. And then these up here, I wanted a really pointy hook, so I used my ferrules, but I pull it so that way it's loose like it was a size 6mm hook. Little cheats. So, for my loops, I usually just chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then I single crochet back into the top of the same stitch. And again, this is completely optional. You can go at this point all the way down and around, creating the same stitch pattern, single crochets all the way down the side, and then in the corner do a single crochet, half double, single crochet all in the corner. And then when you come back to this loop, crochet a single crochet in every stitch all the way around, all 12 of them, and then fasten off down here. And that gives you a little bit thicker of a loop. But that is it for this Tunisian knit stitch dishcloth tutorial. I hope that you have enjoyed it, and we'll see if we can find some other Tunisian fun to do here and there. Thank you for watching. Be blessed and be a blessing. Bye for now.